Hey, what is happening, Bulls and Bears? It is Thursday, July 20th, 2023, back with another dose of economic reality. Now, things are getting very interesting as the economic collapse picks up speed. We have a lot of different things converging together, and now we're starting to see more signs of things playing out, like we've been expecting here. The second half of the year, I said defaults are going to start increasing. Just in our last report, we talked about how people's credit scores are now dropping, and a few credit card companies, not many, but it's going to get much worse. A few credit card companies now are actually limiting credit line increases. And I think in a few months down the road, we're going to see credit lines decrease. And this is all part of the debt-based system where banks let people run up as much debt as possible until the defaults start happening. Then they finally tighten the credit. It's kind of like, the Fed trying to do monetary policy based on what's already happened, based on numbers that are coming out that are based on last month and the month before, and sometimes even the prior quarter. So they're basically looking in the rear view mirror to try to make decisions that are ahead of us down the road. And that's why you always see them get it wrong every time. So it's a flawed way that they try to maneuver the economy. And that's why we see these boom and bust cycles. Now, this last boom cycle, or what people would call a bull market, has been very different from any other bull market that we've ever seen, because what we saw in 2020, because of the health crisis, all the different programs that were put in to help people, sending out money, paycheck protection programs, foreclosure prevention, vehicle repossession prevention, help with utility bills, freezing certain types of bills. Everybody knows, what went on, enhanced unemployment benefits, the list goes on and on. So we've never seen this level of intervention. We've also never seen this level of money creation and just the amounts of money that have been thrown at the problem. So it created massive inflation, rising cost of living. Of course, everybody knows that. But now how it's unwinding, nobody really knows exactly how it's going to unfold, because we've never been in this position with so much debt, such a rapid rise in rates. Now we've got students having to resume their student loan payments. We're talking about 43 million people with student loan debt. And also, on top of everything else, another rate hike coming up later this month here in July. So it's going to get wild. It's going to be wacky, and we're going to stay on top of it for you. But let's go ahead and get into some news here. We have this FedNow payment system being launched. And of course, they're putting out all the benefits, how it's going to be so fast. You're going to get your paycheck more quickly, and it can send money back and forth without any delay. And the talking heads are out there saying how this is going to be good for people. It's going to be very popular. And the people behind this, they just want to help people, make transactions easier. The skeptics of this say that this is going to be used for the central bank digital currency, the CBDC, and therefore it's going to have a lot of negative tools in it that people can use to control how you spend your money. And these skeptics or doubters also say that this system can be used as basically a big brother type of system, where if you don't jump through certain hoops, they have more control over your money, and they can simply stop certain transactions. They can stop you from spending money in certain places or in certain ways. And they're telling us here that it's going to be a great tool to prevent crime and stop certain transactions. But the skeptics of that say that the people that have the control and the power behind this can use it for ways that may be not so popular amongst the population. Right, so we'll have to see. Please let me know what you think down in comments about the FedNow payment system rolling out now at select banks, and how long will it take to unwind this whole thing and have it launched everywhere. I don't know, but we're going to keep an eye on it here for you. Next, you want to talk about a crazy story. Jury awards Florida girl burned by McDonald's chicken McNugget, one nugget, keep that in mind, $800,000 in damage. $800,000 for a chicken McNugget burn. I don't know about you, but I'll get burned by a whole 20-piece chicken McNuggets for $800,000. Absolutely. All right, but this happened to be a younger person, someone that's about 4 years old. A South Florida jury awarded $800,000 in damages to a little girl who received second-degree burns when a hot chicken McNugget fell on her leg as her mother pulled away from the drive-thru of a McDonald's restaurant. All right, and I don't think anyone here likes to see little kids get hurt, but $800,000 for one chicken McNugget. My concern and worry is there's going to be a lot of copycats and maybe even parents trying to do this stuff on purpose in order to try to collect a big paycheck. That's my fear. I hope no parents would actually stoop to that level. But with the levels of poverty that we're seeing right now, the increase in crime, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more stories like this, or if this type of thing becomes very common, where somebody got burned by coffee, somebody got burned, by this piece of food, and now we're going to sue the food company, or we're going to sue the restaurant. Where does it stop? And when people are in financial dire straits, they have more incentive to do this type of thing. And just one other danger of the high cost of living that's a very negative consequence. Let's talk about what Whole Foods is doing. This is out of Investopedia. Scan your palm instead of swiping a card to pay for food at Whole Foods. But let me ask you, was it that difficult just to take out your credit card and swipe it? Has anyone ever gotten injured taking their credit card out of their wallet, take it out of your purse, swipe it, or even easier yet, stick it in, read the chip? Most cards now have the chip reader. Why do we need to scan our palms? I don't think I'll be shopping at Whole Foods, actually. I mean, if I could still use a credit card, I don't go to Whole Foods that much, but if I could still use a credit card, I'll go there. But when they start implementing this as the only way to pay, to me, that's what's scary. But I see that as the future. I see more tracking, more invasion of your privacy, invasion of your body parts. Now they want to scan your palm, then it's your eyeball, it's your retina, stool samples. I mean, who knows? This could get really, really crazy, but it's pretty scary in my opinion. What do you think about that? Are you going to be shopping at Whole Foods? Does this bother you? Or is this convenient? You can just go in there and more quickly check out. I should say more quickly check out after you've waited in line for 10 minutes because they only had one checkout person to check out 20 customers. Let's jump on over to real estate and the housing market really quick. June home sales dropped to the slowest pace in 14 years as low supply chokes the market. Yeah, it's not just low supply, it's also people can't afford the homes. Home prices are still too high. We're just now seeing the uptick. We had our last report where we talked about the uptick, or the downtick, I should say, the dropping in people's credit scores. The pool of buyers has all but dried up. I mean, it's dwindling. It's not completely gone. We're still seeing some sales, but the lowest in 14 years. So doing the math on it, this takes us all the way back to about 2009, which was the midst or close to the beginning of the housing bubble going bust. And that's what happens at the beginning of a bust, right? Sellers are in denial. They want to get the price they want to get. They think the economy is not going to get any worse. They'll hold on to their home, maybe waiting for lower rates to come in so they can refinance to get them out of their financial hole. A lot of homeowners are house poor right now. And we're going to see going later into this year as foreclosures start to pick up, as personal bankruptcies start to pick up, probably to match the rate of corporate bankruptcies. Corporate bankruptcies are on the pace to be the worst since 2010. I think we're going to see consumer bankruptcies pick up to match corporate bankruptcies. We're probably going to see the worst years we've seen since the financial crisis, also in personal bankruptcies. So we're going to see that going into the end of the year. That's, I think, how it's going to play out. And, so far we've been really accurate on the timing of this. And remember, we were one of the only channels in 2020 to tell you that the housing bubble wasn't going to bust, right? This time, they don't have the health crisis excuse for all the rescue programs. Will something else crazy happen where they'll use it to justify bringing out foreclosure prevention and moratoriums? Anything's possible. But barring that, look for further corrections in the housing market. And supply will start to pick up as people start realizing, hey, they better sell now because things aren't about to get better. Things are actually getting worse. Also, if we continue to see softening rents, that's going to have more homeowners eyeing selling to go ahead and rent a place. Right now, if you sell your home and go to rent a similar sized place, you're going to be paying just as much, maybe, or even more than you were paying in the mortgage, on the mortgage, unless you really overpaid for your home. But most people that sell their home, when they go to rent somewhere, they're also paying a lot for rents because rents are still too high. So if we see rents correct, that's also going to have an impact on the housing market. So, of course, we're going to keep a close eye on that for you here as well. Also, we have more layoffs happening. We've got Cisco announcing more layoffs. Also, mortgage layoffs. So remember, the slowdown in home sales isn't just because of low inventory. It is people can't qualify. And now what's going to happen when more people losing their jobs in the mortgage industry, they're going to have to go out and find a different job. And it's probably not going to pay as much as a lot of these loan officer jobs. So what's that going to mean? That's going to be more negative impacts on the economy as people have to switch to low paying jobs. Remember the unemployment number that we see, the unemployment rate or the people filing unemployment actually ticked down a little bit. But remember, when people file unemployment, they often go to a job that doesn't pay as much, especially in these times. And that's just something else piling on top of all the negative weights here on the economy. All right, people, that's our economic report for today. What do you think about the $800,000 chicken nugget? Are we going to have more copycats trying to make money in this type of situation? Please let me know down in the comments. And what do you think about all the news today? And is there important news that I missed? Please let me know. Otherwise, keep stacking, everybody. We'll see you down in the comments. Bye for now. Peace.